Good morning. Our prelude this morning is called Ours is a Simple Faith by UU musician David Tomalovich. The Association for Unitarian Universalist Musicians Network holds the Silliman competition, which encourages UU composers and musicians to submit music and hymns and congregational songs that really reflect our faith, and then they vote on them. This is a finalist from the 2014 competition. Ours is a simple faith. Life is a short embrace. Heaven is in this place every day. Hope is the ground we till. Make each day what you will. Thankful for dreams fulfilled every day. Trust is an open hand, making an honest stand, rooted here in the land every day. Live in the mystery, seeking the harmony here between you and me every day. Ours is a simple faith. Life is a short embrace. Heaven is in this place every day. Hope is the ground we till. Make each day what you will. Thankful for dreams fulfilled every day.
Good morning. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Hamilton. My name is Barbara Wallace, and I am this morning's service leader. Spring is right around the corner. I have daffodils sprouting out of the ground and through the snow. The earth is getting ready. From the city of Hamilton, it is situated on the traditional territories of the Erie, Neutral, Huron-Wendat, the Haudenosaunee, and the Mississaugas. This land is covered by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, which is an agreement between the Haudenosaunee and the Anishinaabe to share and care for the resources around the Great Lakes. We acknowledge that this land is covered by the Between the Lakes Purchase of 1792 between the Crown and the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. Today, the city of Hamilton is the home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, North America. And we recognize that we must do more to learn about the rich history of this land so that we can better understand our roles as residents, neighbors, partners, and caretakers. Tomorrow is International Women's Day, a day that we can all celebrate. I recognize the women of these words modified from those written by Joanne Elder Gnomes for the Canadian Unitarian and Universalist Women's Association. Today we honor the wisdom of women in the past who have shaped the world we live in. We celebrate the wisdom of women here with us now, in body or spirit, who are shaping the world we create together. We encourage ourselves to shape the world of the future, to draw from our own sources of meaning and inspiration so that the beings of the generations to come will discover their unique and authentic sources of wisdom. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your journey of faith or search for meaning, today you are one of us, and you are. Okay, so Victoria is still going to light our chalice for us, and I'm going to still say these words by Cynthia Laudrum. Mindful that with great power comes great responsibility. We light this chalice in the hopes that in the brightest day, In the blackest night, our faith will flame on.
Let's together say our unison words for lighting the chalice. May this flame be our light of friendship and love.
Number 349, we gather together. We gather together in joyful thanksgiving, acclaiming creation whose bounty we share. Both sorrow and gladness we find now in our living. We sing a hymn of praise to the life that we bear. We gather together to join in the journey, confirming, committing our passage to be a true affirmation in joy and tribulation. When bound to human care and hope, then we are free.
Our story for all ages this morning comes from Hide and Seek with God, one of our UUA publications, and it is called Different Points of View. Once upon a time, the children were at the beach playing in the sand. They were digging and patting and talking, making special places. They talked about all kinds of things. They talked about what their special places were like. They talked about what they might have for lunch. And they talked about where the sand came from. One child said the sand came from bigger rocks. The waves kept bumping into the rocks and the rocks got smaller and pretty soon they were sand. Another child said, yes, but God put all those rocks there in the first place. God made the sand. And another child said, I don't think it was God. I think long time ago there was a great big explosion in space and everything blew out from it. The children went on, telling each other what their different ideas were. One child said, I don't know what to think. I wonder who is right. Yeah, the other children agreed. Who is right? Just then they looked up and saw someone coming onto the beach. The person looked like sort of a magician, and she was carrying bags with mysterious objects poking out of them. The children jumped up from the sand and ran to see what this strange person was doing. The woman came over near where the children were playing and set down her bags. Then she took the objects out of the bags and set them up in the sand. They looked sort of like telescopes, but she pointed them at the sand, not up at the sky. Then she said, these are my pointing viewers. Would you like to look through them? The children were all excited and said, yes, of course we would. And the magician said, now notice that all the pointing viewers are pointed at the same place in the sand, but you must look through each one and remember what you see. They all started looking. Each child looked through each viewer. Well, what did you see? The magician asked them. Well, in this one, we saw us making special places in the sand. In that one, we saw the rocks and waves bumping into each other and tiny pieces of sand breaking off. In that one over there, we saw God making the sand. And in this other one, we saw a big explosion shooting out the earth and rocks and sand. You see something different from each of the viewers, puzzled one of the children. But how could we? We were always looking at the same thing. That's the magic of the pointing viewers, said the magician. You were looking at the same thing, but what you really saw depended on which viewer you looked through. Do you know that your minds are a lot like my pointing viewers? You can use your minds to see things like the sand in different ways. And here's the best part. It doesn't mean that one way is right and the other is wrong. Depending on which pointing viewer you use, the sand can be made by God or waves or a big explosion, and all of those views can be right. We're all right, the children yelled. We're all right. And the magician picked up her pointing viewers, put them back in the bags, and was gone in an instant. The children ran back to their sand creations and went back to digging and patting and talking and sharing their different points of view. And that's our story for this morning.
My name is Anne Craig Howard, and I'm a member of the team planning for Reverend Victoria's retirement celebration. And it's really an honor to be part of this. One of the tasks that the team is undergoing is to share a memory with you that we have of Victoria during the time she has spent with us. It was a lovely journey down memory lane for me, recalling all the many experiences and lovely happenings. However, it was really difficult to pick one. Over the past 10 years, Victoria has brought a lot to my life. She's brought some joy, hope, and sometimes a tear to my eyes. Would I choose one of these moments? What also stood out for me was the many celebrations. There were many. The dedications of a child, the weddings, one in particular, the celebrations of life. They were all so lovely. I can only choose one, just one. Each year, at our fall festival, the sanctuary is turned into a concert hall, and the day is the stage. The house lights went very dim, almost dark, and the stage was just filled with light. The spotlight was on the stage, and there, sitting in the spotlight on a stool, looking so beautiful, was Victoria. Microphone in hand, she sang my favorite of all songs, Crazy. Well, there was thunderous applause, whistling, clapping, and I yelled out, "Encore, Victoria, encore." And that is my Victoria moment.
Thank you for remembering that moment. And that was fun. Appreciate having these chances to go back and remember things with the congregation. So let's take a time for contemplation or prayer. Please find a place that's comfortable for yourself and listen to these words from Alistair Bate. After that, after the words are done, take a moment to breathe, and then we will do some chanting with Cindy. No greater discovery is given our kind than to realize our divinity. That ordinary morning walk through the park, wherein an extraordinary moment of wondrous light, the truth may dawn that I and thee and we and tree are one. And if this weren't enough, even more, this oneness is immensely powerful and empowering and transforming love. For all the good we may choose to achieve from this knowing oneness, Sky Father, Earth Mother, we are thankful. Thank you, Cindy. Today we're talking about faith, and I'm sure somewhere along the line in your life, you too have heard, have you accepted Jesus as your Lord and Savior? That probably is my least favorite question and my least favorite conversation starter when I encounter people who share another faith tradition from mine. It's not that I mind talking about my faith. I'm very proudly Unitarian Universalist. I believe in the healing and the loving and the saving aspects of my chosen beliefs. But that doesn't always make it easy to talk about with other people. So where do I start when my understanding of my faith, of my reality of what I believe, is so far removed from even the premise of that question? Maybe it's a bit challenging for you to talk about what you have faith in as well. You do sometimes have a challenge when we sometimes have a challenge in stating what we believe or what we have faith in. It can be even harder to share that information with others, especially those who have very different interpretations of faith and belief. Faith is what we choose to believe without evidence. The truth for many Unitarian Universalists is that from our rational perspective, we just don't know the ultimate truth. There is not evidence for us to answer with complete assurance about so many of the facets of traditional faith and belief systems, things like God or God with a big G or heaven or hell. A while back, I saw a sticker on the back of a car that was in front of me, and it said, "God said it, I believe it, that's the end of it." Okay. As I thought about it, I found myself getting more and more amused thinking about what the equivalent UU bumper sticker might say and how much of the car backside it would take up to say it. And that made me laugh. I don't think that they intended that to be a funny bumper sticker, but for me, it was hilarious. So first, I want to assure you that Unitarian Universalists do have beliefs and do share a faith. There is a very sound basis for our faith views and a deep theology behind our beliefs. It's just more complex and nuanced and expansive than it used to be. With roots in the Christian tradition, our denomination started out on the left end of the Protestant Reformation, and we have continued to move along that progressive path ever since. While we are a free faith, meaning that we are without creed or doctrine, we do have expectations of each other and ourselves in our religious pursuit. Instead of asking that we all agree about what is true, we agree to a covenant, an agreement of values that are expressed in our 7 principles. They are as close as we come to a statement of faith. And even at that, we don't ask everyone to stand up every Sunday and repeat them as though they were doctrine or a creed. We believe from our Unitarian heritage that God is one. That says that if we believe in a big G or a little g God, it is one and the same. No one's God is more right or wrong than anyone else's in our faith tradition. We're all children of one divinity, one mystery, one creator, one source. We believe in original love as opposed to original sin. We believe that love is at the core of all life. We have chosen to forsake the idea of unredeemable souls, eternal damnation, and an endless hell in torment. Our Universalist heritage shares with us a vision of the redemption of all beings, ultimately embraced by the sacred. At its core, our faith is about the centrality of love, about how we go about living our lives in a demonstration of our love. We covenant to respect all life, not only the worth and dignity of our human partners, but all of the interdependent web of life. This stance helps us keep in perspective the relative value of humans in the great circle, neither more nor less than any of the other beings with whom we share this life and this planet. Because we take this stance, we are aware of the truth in all life. There is no single faith or sacred text, a single belief system or path that can contain all of the truth. Therefore, we respect other religious traditions. Each of us, as Tim talked about in his story this morning, each of us has a slice of the truth. And we can find inspiration and insight and enlightenment in hundreds of places and people and prophets. We expect to use our reason and our experience, following the dictates of our conscience, to develop and articulate our beliefs, our truths, and our values. Then we expect that we will live our lives according to those beliefs and truths and values, or at least do the best we can in our imperfect human forms. We believe that people have choices. Ours is a faith of freedom based on the standards of our own conscience. We know that people, we, can do bad or evil things, but we believe that the goodness of people outshines the bad. And while we don't always feel comfortable with the concept of sin as Unitarian Universalists, we know that bad choices do happen, and often those are because of pain or ignorance. Still, we believe that people have choices, that those choices matter, and that we can always make different choices if we find ourselves living at odds with our values in any moment. We believe that life evolves and that truths and thoughts and certainties and ethics can and do change over time. Because we believe that things change and evolve, we also value the importance of learning, experiencing and reflecting on life in a way to find what truth is being revealed to us in this moment. We are called to be awake and aware of what is happening around us, to be humble as we engage with the larger world. We believe that we are here to live in this world, not simply exist until whatever or something may come next. Since, in our opinion, we really truly don't know if there is an afterlife or not, UUs see our great task as making life now as much of a heaven on earth as we can in this moment. In that vein, we are called to create justice and equity and peace. We are called to grow our understanding and capacity to love, to translate that into action that heals the world, and to make our life better in the here and now and the lives of other people in the here and now, for all people living beside us who are in pain or suffering and despair. Unitarian Universalists have many ways of naming what is sacred, valued, deep, meaningful. We might call it love or God, creator or great spirit or spirit of life. We come together not because we share a common vision of what that sacred is or what the divine might be. We come together because life is richer in community than in trying to go it alone. We are a faith community because we need one another in our search for truth and meaning. And we want to enjoy life and celebrate and be comforted and love one another as part of the human family. Our prayer is to make our life a reflection of our values and beliefs. Our spiritual practice is to do this in our community of faith, where we promote and affirm our covenant with one another. Our sacraments are the milestones that mark our passage through a life of learning, growing, deepening, and understanding in love and compassion. Our faith is in action, reflection, and engagement to create the beloved community. Our commitment is to the creation of a world filled with justice, equity, and peace. and our reward is a life well lived. Blessed be. And now let's sing our second hymn this morning, The Morning Hangs a Signal.
Number 40, The Morning Hangs a Signal. The morning hangs a signal upon the mountain crest, while all the sleeping valleys in silent darkness rest. From peak to peak it flashes, it laughs along the sky, till glory of the sunlight on all the land shall lie. Above the generations, the lonely prophets rise, while truth flares as the day star within their glowing eyes. And other eyes beholding are kindled from that flame, and on becomes the morning when prophets love proclaim. The soul has lifted moments above the drift of days, when life's great meaning breaketh in sunrise on our ways. Behold the radiant token of faith above all fear. Night shall release its splendor, that morning shall appear.
We extinguish this chalice from this gathering, still knowing that its symbolic flame remains with us. We know that both light and the darkness hold their own opportunities, that the moon is full, even when it is a small remnant of visible light, that our words and actions make a difference, even when they are largely unseen and unheard.
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It this great turning we shall learn